All right, say something, Joe.
Test 1, 2, 3.
Yay!
There we go.
All right. So everybody, please welcome Joe from Vaping Militia. Talk to everybody about advocacy.
Well, the first thing I'm going to say is I know I'm missing a great party.
Sure.
But our schedule, so I've had to do it different this year. Let's talk about some of the things that you guys need to be doing this year. Okay, I'm getting feedback. I'm going to drop my headphones back. Okay, so the things that you guys are going to focus on this year is getting together as a group and making a difference for Louisiana. You got to put together all the crazy little things that are going on and meet at the table and come up with some good ideas to move things forward as a group. Because if you leave this table divided, the state will dice you up in little pieces and take advantage of you in every way that they can. We have seen this over and over in every state this year. The slightest bit of division has meant complete turmoil. Everybody follow me on that?
Yes, I'm sorry, I muted you so you didn't get the feedback.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so well, good. So that's the biggest thing you guys have got to work on doing. You guys are about 2 years into this process, which means, surprise, you guys aren't the toddlers on the blocks anymore. You guys have got responsibilities to let the other states look at you and see how you have been successful. And you guys have been phenomenally successful. The tax that was passed down there is minuscule compared to what we're seeing in other states. You've also got a working relationship between your lobbyist and so many different representatives that even I had a chance to meet when I was down there. You guys have already got a playing field that is so much more open than other states. In Montana right now, there's 4 vendors that are making up the advocacy efforts. That's it. One of them sells from their house, by the way, just in case you're wondering how far behind the curve they are from where you guys are at. Okay. Now, you've seen some terrible things that happen in California and some absolutely heinous things that happen in Illinois or in Indiana. Let's talk about those things right now, because those bad ideas that are going through those state legislators right now, legislators are going to look at them and think, well, if they're doing it over there, is it the right thing to do here? Which puts you guys in a very interesting position that something you did not have to look at before, you've now got to come up with an excuse for. Tobacco 21 is probably a good idea for the industry, but it's a fundamental issue that you're going to have to wrestle with individually. I'm just going to tell you what I think. If you're old enough to go to war, you're old enough to buy cigarettes, buy vapes, buy alcohol, whatever. If you're old enough to go to war, you should be able to do that. I think anything else is ridiculous. But you've got so many other things that are bad ideas that are going to be coming in. And these legislators, first off, are going to think because they were good ideas and they passed over there, that they hold merit. Frequently, many of the things that you see in there had no merit. They weren't based on fact. They weren't based on science. So they are still able to go in there and erode them when you give them the proper information. And let me tell you about when the right time for information is. Now, in the past 2 years, I know that everyone has heard the same thing over. There's a call to action. We've got to do something now. There's a call to action. We've got to do something now. There's a bill that just got introduced. We've got to start this little mumbling. Well, when the bill's introduced, we're already too late. Bottom line. Any state that is not employing its lobbyist in the off session to keep a constant dialogue with legislators, all the legislators possible, is losing the opportunity of a lifetime. You have to change minds at the thought process. You can't fight them on the floor. There's too many people in their ears. If you create a thought process that's in their head in the beginning, an ideological idea that this product is doing good for people, when they see this crap that comes from the ALA and all these other people, they will stand up and they'll say, wait a minute, something's not making sense. They are people. These legislators are not automatons. They are not absolute. Well, some of them are buffoons, but not all of them are. Okay. And we have a lot of good friends. And now we need to start going through and getting those friends that are in the legislature to spread their goodwill to other legislators to get us to talk to those people. If you own a shop, you guys need to be at the State House at least once a year. Bottom line. You need to put a suit on and go see them. If you work in a shop, at least twice a year, you need to pick up the phone and call your legislators and say, hey, guess where I work? I enjoy my job. I like to keep that job. And you know what? If you just own the device, all you got to do is pick up the phone once and say, I vape. It's just that simple. You know, that having that body of people that are there is what we really need to do. Let's talk about something on a national scale for a moment. The CDC 9 weeks ago put out a study that said that there were 9 million people that had used one of these devices in some manner. 9 million of them. The CASA database is currently at 147,000. Okay, 9 million, 147,000. Less than 1%. Okay, every shop owner that's in this that is in here, listen to me. If you don't put an iPad on your counter, and with every starter kit that you sell, if you don't push that iPad across the counter and say, you need to sign up for CASA, you are setting a path to destroy this industry. And you need to spread this to every other shop owner. This is the most important thing we need to do. Julie Wassner and those guys at CASA are going to be standing in front of Congress at some point. They came in there with 70,000 testimonials, and that was an incredible statement. But for her to walk onto the Senate floor and say, I represent only 170,000 vapors, when there's 9 million of them out there, we've got a major problem we've got to get fixed. We've really got to start pushing for the consumers to join CASA. Now, same thing goes at the state level. At the state level, you guys have got to get your house cleaned up. And this is not just aimed at Louisiana. This is aimed at every state. You guys have got to start working as a single force. Any division, again, is weakness that they will pick you guys apart. So it's time for, if you've got a grievance with what's going on with the leadership in the state, write it on a piece of paper. Find pick one person, and that person has got to be quiet, but they get all the pieces of paper. And you know what? Somebody needs to sit in a room with those pieces of paper until we finally get answers, so we can actually have a full-blown, moving state vendors group that is making a difference in Louisiana. I know it's kind of harsh, but that's just the way I see it, guys.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. Woo! Thank you so much. I know you have been feeling good. We appreciate it, and hopefully Louisiana's gonna stay, focused, and we're gonna keep on working on that. We have Brian and Adrian here right now, actually, and we're trying to get everything united. We're in a pretty good place this year. We made it through the special session. Now we're heading into there's Adrian. He's saying,
hey, Adrian.
We're heading through the special session. We made it through the special session, and and there's Brian.
Hey.
We're heading into the regular session. Actually started already. So we're working on that, trying to stay out of all of these bills. So we did it. They did a great job, phenomenal job. Y'all need it. Everybody, please thank Brian and Adrian who are here, because they did an awesome, phenomenal job with keeping. They actually raised the tobacco tax this year in special session and didn't mention e-cigs at all whatsoever. Yeah, thanks to them.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we're still working on it. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for talking and getting everybody here. You're
one
awesome.
other thing I want to let people know about is in July, I'm going to be over in Mobile. So if anybody's got any questions, would like to come meet me and talk to me personally, I'll be over there. I'll be glad to make time to talk to you. I'm already meeting with a bunch of people from Mississippi that are trying to form a group. And if any of you guys have got friends that are over across the Mississippi state line, please get in touch with Heather, pass your information to her so she can get it to me, because I really do need to get this group in Mississippi going, because they've got some very wicked things that could happen to them very quick. And I don't want the South to turn ugly that fast. And all it takes is either Alabama, Mississippi or Georgia to making a wrong turn. And the problem is all those states start looking at each other like sisters and go, oh, we can do that here. We don't want to do that.
Mississippi legislature as well.
You were unmuted. Tell me.
We do Mississippi legislature as well. So send their information to Brian and I as well. We'll talk to them.
Sounds great. Sounds great.
All right, Joe. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you, Joe. Thanks.
We'll advocate for gumbo.
Go Tigers!
I got a football for that. I'll claim another one.
Oh. He hung up on me on that one.
All right. Now we want to get Adrian to talk.
Yeah, if they have, that's it. Joe, we can discontinue down with that. And yes, that's Adrian. Yeah, just let me know.
No, I've been around politicians long enough, so I've learned to talk loudly. Plus, I was a Marine for 15 years.
Well, this is Adrian and Brian. This is who literally has been working with your representatives and making sure that y'all can still vape at a reasonable price. So we owe a lot to them.
Round of applause, everybody.
Follow Brian's
Heather,
old
DJ.
boss, Governor Foster.
them on
I'll be
here.
brief. I know Brian will. It's a pleasure to represent you
I
guys.
tripped over. I'm like,
Small
what
and
is-
growing industry.
I know.
And
It's Adrian's.
what we've done briefly is we've got the relationships with different legislators in the right place. Cameron Henry's a friend. He's the chairman of appropriations. JP Morrell is a friend. He's also the state senator for this area. And he is the chairman of Senate Revenue and Fiscal. So any bills that would have taxation that could affect this industry go through two places where Brian and I's stalwart allies are placed. So our goal this year was not to screw with anything that they did prior, which we want to do in the future. But right now, because the state's in such a financial pickle, we just wanted to stay off the radar and for them not to screw with us. And to that extent, we've been very successful in the special session. We're looking good for the regular session right now, and we get through that. And if they have another special session, which I think they will, we'll be fine. But just touching on what Joe said, it is important to every once in a while just touch base with your legislator and just tell them, hey, I just wanted to chime in or send them an email. Right now, we don't want you to do that because we just want to stay totally off the radar. But in the off season, after the sessions are over, we'll work on that. But Joe is on point with that. Other than that, it's a pleasure to represent you guys. I really appreciate it. Keep on doing what you do.
Like Adrian said, we take a lot of pride representing this industry. We got schooled very fast as to what you guys do and the issues that you face. First and foremost, organization. Speaking with one voice. I know there's been kind of like segmented groups pitting one against the other. That's one thing I took away from the call with Joe is that staying organized under one flag, speaking with one voice is the most important thing you can do. Legislators don't want to hear competing interests. You don't want to be like oil and gas. It's got like 7 different associations telling legislators different things about different bills. It's important, the little things like changing the name from laser that had the electronic cigarette in it and taking kind of the cigarette part of it out of your vernacular because you guys are vaping it. When they hear cigarette, they think tobacco product, and that's why I got classified as a tobacco product last year. And we were screaming at the top of our lungs trying to explain to these guys. At that point, it was, forgive my Chinese, but we couldn't put the shit back in the horse head. But the fortunate thing was that they passed the tax. This is the interesting part about politics. They can pass all the taxes they want, but what really is important is how he and I talked to the Department of Revenue's lawyers into interpreting what that tax meant. And that's why it ended up not being as bad as it was, because frankly, we were able to bullshit them in the bank into, into believing it. So that's why, like I said, it turned out the way it did. Keep speaking with one voice. He mentioned Cameron Henry, chairman of appropriations, one of the most top 4 or 5 most powerful positions in the state. We had lunch with him back last year, the end of last year, and the first thing that Cameron said is look, he said, I'm adopting the vaping industry as one of my pet projects, not to be condescending. He said, but it's because what I've seen and what I've heard from these shop owners is that these people got into a product, they got into a business, they spent money, they opened businesses, they hired people. It's like all of a sudden then like Big Tobacco, who are your competitors by the way, they have their own vaping product, right? Big Tobacco, the taxing authorities, everybody started looking and saying, oh, look, these guys are doing pretty well. Let's see what we can squeeze out of them. So like that is one of the reasons he got into politics, is to stop things like that from happening. So shop owners, when, like you said, when you're calling your legislators, tell them where your business is, tell them how many employees you have, tell them how many employees you'll have to let go of some of these rules regulations they're putting in place. Keep speaking with one voice, keep your organization together, keep communicating with each other, keep putting your message out there. We'll be on the front lines.
Yes, sir.
Is everybody in here a member of CASA? Is everybody a member of CASA? If you're not a member of CASA, we have more than one computer that you are more than happy to sign up with. Also, if anybody doesn't know about House Bill 2058 and you have not taken a petition or signed a petition for that, I have an easy scan that you can take your phone and scan it, and you will automatically
Right here.
right there hanging on the wall that you can scan, and it will send your, when you put your zip code in, your representative will get it, that will go to Washington. That is huge. If House Bill 2058 does not pass, everybody in here, it will be illegal to use every device that you have in your hand. You will be back down to keyboard pins, and that is it. That will be the only legal device. So I suggest everybody, before you walk out of here, you scan that paper and sign that petition, please.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
and thank y'all so much. Let's do a
Give it up for
clap.
Heather. Come on.